Cuba in crisis.
And now, watch what happens.
Reconnaissance mission off the coast of Cuba.
Oil blockade that President Trump has imposed.
Seeking out discarded food and vegetables rotting beneath the blistering sun.
Today is going to be my peaceful day.
Diners open. Craig Crawford here, retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks. We're going to talk about Cuba because we're getting ready to go to war in Cuba, it looks like. And Trump previewed that last night. We'll get into what he said. But we got breaking news right now in Iran. So I don't think this peace deal's holding. Doesn't look like. I don't see it holding. And Iran announced they've closed the Strait of Hormuz again. And then we got several reports of a tanker, at least one tanker, getting fired on by Iran gunboats. So all Trump's talk about things getting settled over there don't seem to be the case. And let's see. Let's get on over to our comments. I see. Agri's here. Agri, it's just you and me right now, Agri. We got to wait for some others to show up. But we got plenty to talk about. And I think you're in Florida, aren't you, Agri? So you probably want to talk about Cuba, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to here's some Cuba stuff to talk about. In particular, what we got right here.
Why are you fighting with the Pope? And are you worried it's upsetting your...
No, I don't. I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand that. Very simple.
Now, that's how Trump started his day yesterday, fighting about the Pope, still fighting the Pope. But then, as it turned out, he had other things on his mind.
In crisis. Sources tell CBS News senior U.S. State Department officials recently traveled to Havana for a meeting with Raul Castro's grandson, Raulito. We're told the U.S. also offered to restore internet access to the island via Starlink. According to Axios, the U.S. said it would provide broader support to Cuba if it meets certain conditions. That includes releasing political prisoners and moving toward free and fair elections. Here's what President Trump said earlier tonight about the U.S. developing relationship with the island nation.
It's called A New Dawn for Cuba. We're going to help them out with Cuba. We have a lot of great Cuban Americans, people that were brutally treated, whose families were killed and brutalized. And now, watch what happens.
The report says U.S. officials told Cuba its economy is in free fall and the ruling elites have a narrow window to reform before things get irreversibly worse.
I was just over on the X platform. We're broadcasted over there now, and see what that looks like. This is new. It's a whole new thing we're doing in the grand scheme of things. We're over on X. Yeah. See, there we are on X. So anybody on X can watch us and join us. I actually put a little comment on here. I believe, yeah, I put a little comment on here about it, and then I'll maybe add to it the address for folks on X to come on over here and talk. But anyhow, Trump has last night in Phoenix, he upped the ante on things about the Cubans, saying his words were, watch what happens, after he talked about military stuff and so on. And you saw in that report what's going on with they're having some kind of meetings. The Trump folks have gone to Cuba, started having some talks. It looks like kind of a setup for, here's your chance to give us everything we want, give up your country, let us take over, or we're going to start a war, and they call that negotiating. And so that's where that appears to stand. Meanwhile, you got these drones.
Is a Navy MQ-4C
Here you see these drones, reconnaissance drones over Cuba,
off the coast of Cuba
right
this
now,
afternoon.
and
this was late afternoon on Thursday.
many
April
reports
16th.
about
Like I
that
said,
going
I am
on.
filming this on April 17th, and we now
This
have
was April
highly
17th.
sophisticated, highly advanced
These are
drones
reconnaissance
conducting
drones that are
drone
going
warfare
over
and surveillance
Cuba.
operations, gathering up all that signals intelligence.
This fella, this is one thing I love about the internet these days is you got all these folks out there who
Why does this matter? What did we do before
who
we went
monitor all
into
these
Maduro?
things. They
How did we
have access
operate
to all
in
the
that
flight
scenario?
tracking data.
We
For
sent
we saw
drones,
this in the
fighter
Iran
jets,
war just
aircraft,
now.
a lot of drones, right off
And the
the coast of
tankers, they
Venezuela,
had access to
monitoring all the
tracking
movements of
tankers and
Maduro
so on.
and his regime
And
leaders.
this guy,
Then when it came time
he's
to
able to
screen the
track
operation, we knew everything we
our
needed to
reconnaissance
know, and we
drones.
went and did it.
It's amazing
Now
to
it
me this
appears
stuff's
we are doing the exact
actually
same
public.
playbook here that we
And
ran
that
against
it
Maduro,
can be
against the
monitored that
Diaz
way.
Canal regime in Cuba.
You
We have
listen to him
another
here
look
for a
at it
second.
here that gives
This
you
guy.
the full flight path. So it came out somewhere over
He's
the
got
coast
the flight
on the
paths of
eastern
drones.
side of
Knows where they
Florida,
came from.
crossed
Came
back
from
to the west
Jacksonville.
over Florida, went south into the Gulf
Of course,
of
this is
America,
how we started in
circled
Venezuela.
Havana
We had
for a significant period of
about
time,
a week or
then
so of
looped
drone
down into the
surveillance
Cayman Islands region,
over every
Jamaica,
square
in
inch of the
between
place.
Jamaica and Cuba, where you can see it
That's
right
become
there.
the modern
And it went out of
calling
its way
card.
to gather all the information it
Putin,
possibly could
when
against
he
the
messes
Cuban
with
regime. And again,
some of those
this
Eastern
is
Bloc
coming
countries like
as the
Estonia, he
United
likes to
States of
fly
America is
drones
preparing
around just
for
to
imminent
aggravate them
possible military
and actually
action. Now,
test
I wanna
their
put this on the
responses.
screen
That's
as well.
another purpose of
This
sending
is
drones
not the first time we have done this. This
over
is actually
airspace
from
that you
March,
intend
which
to
you see
invade.
here,
Is you want to
taking
test
off from
their
the same
defenses,
area,
see what kind of
southbound
defenses
over
they
to
have
Cuba,
when you
another
invade their airspace.
MQ-4C surveillance drone.
Now,
Watching
Putin gets
whatever
even
the
more
Cuban
serious
government
about
is
that
doing,
with actual
tracking the
fighter
movements,
jets
tracking their
that
military
he
movements.
sends
We are
over
going to find
Estonia,
everything
even
the Cubans
Poland,
have before
just
President
to mess
Trump
with them.
decides
Then he
whether or
says,
not
"Oh, it was all a
he will be
mistake."
launching
Well, we're not
imminent
saying it was a
military
mistake. We're
action.
kind of
Now,
bragging about
for
it.
those of you who don't know what an
doing this.
MQ-4C Triton is, it is an American
the
high-altitude endurance UAV developed for and
This is
flown
the
by
actual
the United States
drones that
Navy,
they're flying.
Royal Australian Air Force as a surveillance
here.
aircraft, together with its associated ground control station.
But anyway, back to we'll hop back and forth because maybe it's because I grew up in Cuba. I don't know. I'm just obsessed with what's going to happen with Cuba.
Intelligence,
I grew
surveillance,
up
and reconnaissance missions
in the
over
early
vast
days
ocean
of
and
the
coastal regions, continuous maritime
Cuban Missile
surveillance,
Crisis and
conduct search and
so
rescue
on. So
missions,
it's something
and
that's always
complement
on
the
my
Boeing
mind.
P-8 Poseidon.
Oh,
I think
Jack.
you can go more than
Hey, Jack.
30,000 feet in the air.
I'm back to obsessing on Cuba.
So the range is miles. Sorry, you can go up to
56,000
feet.
We got reconnaissance drones.
Let's show you some pictures of this bad boy. So what you see here,
Trump
that is
predicted
the
his
drone right there,
invasion
the
of Cuba
MQ-4C
last night
Triton,
at Phoenix.
that was scrambled.
Oh,
around
good.
Cuba.
Let him do it. I just, what Trump does, I'm getting a little burned out on the whole thing.
It's getting tiresome, except for the fact that it has massive consequences. I mean, it's like, if it was inconsequential, it would be one thing, I guess.
It's basically what the consequences are is to our troops that he sends out there and causing problem in their life.
Well, but I think we're on our way to a global recession. The World Bank was here in D.C. Last few days, and a friend of mine who's a big muckety muck with the World Bank, we had dinner with, and he was talking about that even before this crisis with the oil, the Straits of Hormuz and the oil prices and everything, he made the point. He says every time we get together for these World Bank meetings, he says we try to talk about, the bigger picture these days, which is world GDP is at its lowest level in decades, and indicates an impending global recession. He says, but we can't ever talk about it because there's some other crisis that we focus on instead. Like this meeting they just had, they had to spend the whole time dealing with the consequences of this Iran war and the closing of the straits. But he said, the bigger story the world needs to pay attention to is the coming global recession. And he went through a lot of the reasons why they're worried about it, but I don't know what it means for us, but don't look good for the world.
I think it's extremely, we've got an attention span of about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're already bored with the Iran war. And the thing we don't realize is yesterday, the last oil shipment out of the Gulf finally got delivered.
Yeah.
It's taken that long for the pipeline to run dry.
Yeah.
And
they've closed the strait again.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
I mean, that lasted about 10 minutes. Oh, what do we got here? We got L. Aubrey. Hello, I believe you're new. Because Trump is a disgusting piece of shit, he's here to tear it. You know what? Who was it we were talking to the other day? Anyway, somebody had the theory that I can't remember. I'm quoting someone. This isn't my observation, but that Trump is aware of his coming death and is going to take down the whole world with him. That kind of gets to your point there.
Yeah. By the way, did you notice that we destroyed the Iran Navy, but they were out in force yesterday?
Yeah, like right here, like this morning.
Yeah.
they're firing on their gunboats are firing on
and gunboats was the only Navy they had anyway.
Anyway, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Ellie, where are you, Ellie? And tell me what platform you came to, because we're on a new platform today. We've added one, and I'm curious if anybody comes from X over here, because that's where we've got a platform going on right now.
All right. So you have got us all the way across every crazy place there is. Then
we're inviting them all.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they're all. Everybody's. All the crazies are welcome. Yep. And if they get too crazy, I'll throw them out. That's the way we handle it.
Yeah. It gets kind of. You get them going. What was it? Was it yesterday with that guy that was doing the one-liners?
Yeah.
One-liners. And he eventually, toward the end, started acting like he was a human rather than a robot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. But here's the page. Here's our page on X right now. We've got a live little doohickey there on X. And we're also on Blue Sky and this thing called Twitch. So I'm just flitting us all around the place. Screw Cuba, American check.
I think Cuba may be actually the last communist country out there.
Yeah, I don't know what Russia is anymore. I mean,
Russia's not.
And China calls themselves the Communist Party, but I don't know.
Authoritarian bureaucracy.
Yeah.
China claims to be, but they're out capitalist. They're more capitalist than we are nowadays.
Well, you're getting your wish there, American as check because Trump's screwing Cuba all right. His oil embargo is starving them to death.
Well, I think the problem with what Trump's doing, going back, he's almost going back to his childhood of when, we were invading all these countries down that way because they were irritating our businessmen that were working down there.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the report. Here's the report yesterday in Havana. BBC did. This is what things are looking like there. They're out of power. They're running out of food. People are rummaging through the garbage trying to find vegetables that have been tossed out. And, they're in pretty dire straits. Our oil block. We're not just blockading oil, but food shipments and so on. We're starving them to death. That's what we're doing.
That's what's going on. And I think it shows just how much disconnect the Cuban community in Florida has with Cuba these days. They're willing to starve their cousins just for nothing, really, because they're not going to get power.
There it is. So there's your answer there, American as check. We're screwing Cuba. There it is. You're getting your wish. I mean, that's the thing about these countries that live in these dictatorships and everything and whatnot that we take on them. It's like it's the innocent people that have nothing to do with the politics that are suffering. I mean,
I don't even know what you do about it. We've tried the left-wing solution, we've tried the right-wing solution, and
how about just leave them alone? I mean, it's like let them figure out their own problems. I mean, political problems instead of starving them to death. I don't understand
when Clinton was in there, George Bush is kind of a part of that too. Is that we had this idea that we could go in and we should go in and save the world, and we've been, that's basically what Trump's doing. He's wanting to outdo Bush and Clinton, only he's not smart enough to do it.
Yeah. We'll see what we look like over here.
I would think just after a while, the people in America would just get tired of the incompetence.
It's
not that he is. What's the bad thing? It's not that he's doing this. He is doing it so badly.
I mean, I really think that's the argument to make to even a lot of conservatives. You'd think. I mean, they at least want efficient government. I mean, the incompetence is an
they used to anyway.
I mean, that should be an argument worth making. Well, that's cool. When I put the screen up,
the pictures of what we were feeding our troops in the battle in that area on the ships, and this is on the ships,
Yeah.
And the ships should have been well supplied. This isn't like a outpost somewhere out in the middle of the desert. And it was just nasty looking food. And nastier than usual, I think, is the problem.
This is kind of a wild psychedelic effect here, because this is our screen on Blue Sky, so it's looking at us and we're looking at it, and look at there, you get like this almost 3D.
It's like putting a mirror to a mirror, huh?
A mirror to a mirror, yeah. That's kind of a fun toy. That's kind of fun. I like that. Anyway, see if that scares up any any folks. But hey, back to the whole Iran mess. I did get this on some reconnaissance this morning. He brought in they've got a great reporter who's with CNN and Axios. He's from the region, and he gives a pretty cool-headed description of where things. I mean, basically saying that things might seem like they've fallen apart, but they're all still posturing. But there's no question that Trump's characterization that the deal's done is just totally wrong. But here
the Strait of Hormuz is open, and Iran's nuclear material is in American hands. I'll be the first in line to say it out loud. Job well done. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Joining me now, CNN political and Axios global affairs correspondent.
Yeah,
Barack
this guy's
Rabin,
real
in his
good.
recent
I
piece
follow
for
his report.
Axios,
He's
Trump
very
tells Axios
middle
he
of the road,
expects Iran deal
no
in a day or
nonsense.
two. Barack, thanks for being here. We're seeing Iranian gunboats firing on a tanker, ships turning around, and the U.S. enforcing its blockade. Are we looking at a situation that's unraveling?
Hey, Mike Abrams.
I'm not sure, at least not yet. It could definitely happen, could definitely be the case, but I think it could also be part of the negotiations. We are really in the last moments of this negotiation before the ceasefire expires on April 21st. And I think a lot of what we see and hear is part of this, both sides are trying to, push and pull. And there are some of those things happen in the negotiations. Some of those things happen on the ground, in the battlefield. And I think it's all connected. And I think we'll see in the next 24 hours whether there is a breakthrough in the negotiations that would allow reaching a deal, because we'll know in the next 24 hours, because negotiators will have to travel from the US to Pakistan, which is 20-hour travel. So we will know. And if they don't travel, then we will know that this thing is unraveling.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clear. Practical way to look at it is if they don't get on the planes tomorrow and fly to Pakistan, then we know the deal's not happening. That's a pretty good way that's a pretty good way to track it. Yeah.
Well, we at least know they're not talking yet.
Right. But I mean, one thing that's very clear is that Trump was just flat out lying about what they had accomplished. I mean, I don't understand the negotiating tactic there. I mean, it's like you make some tentative deals with people, plan to talk again, and then he goes out in public and says they agreed they're going to give up all their nuclear material. They're going to open the strait. They're going to do this and do that, and they didn't agree to any of that. And then that pushes the other side back on their heels. I mean, I don't understand that. Is that the art of the deal? Is that how it works? I don't see that as very artful.
I think basically we've got a president who isn't in full control of his faculties. I mean, I just, that's the best explanation.
Hey, Mike Abrams, tell us where you are. Glad to see you here, Mike Abrams. And what platform did you come to us from YouTube or X or Blue Sky? I'm kind of interested because I've been doing that. The art of control. Oh, Mike's adding there, Jack, the art of control. That's one way to put it. But I don't know if he's in control. That's the only trouble with that theory.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike Abrams is in Canada. Well, hello, Canada. Hello, Canada. Can we move there yet?
The only way, it's the only way you're going to get Canadians down here is virtually, right?
On the virtual, yeah.
I was reading something recently that the Canadian boycott of America is one of the most effective boycotts in the world right now.
By Canada?
Yeah, they just aren't coming down here and visiting in the winter. They didn't do the snowbird thing this year.
Huh. And Winter's here. Hello, Winter. Blue's here.
Hello.
Y'all got here late, so you didn't hear me obsessing on Cuba for 10 minutes. So
So you think he's going to give China Taiwan for Cuba?
oh, you caught my theory there. You know what? I had a funny exchange about that with AI with my Silas, and I said, I do this with him. Now I'll come up with some idea and I'll say, bet this theory, and he shot that down entirely. So my theory is that Trump's, I still holding to it. I still think it's a good theory. That Trump's going to trade Taiwan for Cuba, and he's also trading Ukraine for Cuba. That he'll let Putin have Ukraine. Well, he's already doing that. But then he'll let China have Taiwan if they'll stay out of his way in taking over Cuba. That's my theory. And so so AI shot that down, and then I told him, I said, well, I guess that's our routine. I present outlandish theories. And then this is what he wrote. I kept this because I think it's hysterical. This is what AI wrote back to me. He says, somebody has to keep us out of defamation court, Craig. You bring the apocalyptic hysteria. You bring the apocalyptic hysteria. I bring the receipts. It's the perfect symbiotic relationship for monetizing the end of the world. That was AI.
I was going to say, well, I think the Bezos and those guys are already monetizing the end of the world. So.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. He brought that up.
But she's coming. Isn't he coming to the U.S. next month?
Oh, really?
Xi Jinping? I think he's coming in May.
Is that right?
I think so.
That'll be
but I have to drive for like 10 minutes, so I'm going to put myself on mute and just listen.
Okay, Carp Diem's here. Carp Diem. Have I ever come close to pronouncing that correctly? Carp Diem.
Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem. The king has no clothes or brains. I think he was following up on your comment. And Mike says, are you interested in my theory about Trump trading Taiwan for Cuba? I don't know.
I think China's interested in letting Trump have Cuba, but they'll take the rest of South America.
Yeah, well,
they are heavily investing in Central and South America.
And that's what he wants to trade off. I mean, that's another. If he could stop that, because Trump's goal is he think. I actually going back to his first term, a guy at the Brookings Institute I was talking to said this, and he said, Trump's view of the world, and this is back to his first term. He said his view of the world is that Europe belongs to Russia. Asia belongs to China, and the Americas belong to him. And you know what? Everything he says and does pretty much supports that theory, that's his view of the world.
Well, except for the fact that he's not getting it done.
Well, he got Venezuela. He's on his way. He's about to get.
Well, yeah, he got Venezuela, and China's got the rest of South America.
Yeah, I don't know what the status is on their discussions about the rest of South America. You're right. China's very active.
China's going to town down there. China has it's their one belt, one road initiative where they are basically trying to connect the world to China.
Yeah.
And part of it is to get resources. Part of it is to get markets, and they're canny little capitalist over there.
Hey, Mike, I know you said you're up in Canada. The electric car deal that Canada made with China, that's another example of what Jack's talking about, China taking over the world. China's moved ahead in electric car sales now. I mean, and that deal with Canada's a big part of it, I think.
Well, they still have, they made the deal, but they still have a pretty good sized tariff on cars.
Canada does?
Yes.
Oh.
You got to realize the Chinese are making cars under $10,000.
See, that's the thing about the American manufacturers. They got out of that market. They don't make affordable cars anymore.
Yep.
That's why I saw just an amazing statistic not long ago that middle income Americans are at one point many years ago, they bought a new car every 3 to 4 years. Now it's like every 5 to 6 years that they buy a new car. That's a quality of life American dream thing. I mean, being able to get a new car every 2 or 3 years is part of the American dream. I know my parents, they just almost on a calendar every 3 years we got a new car.
Well, that was the pride of, they were able to, I can remember my uncles and their cousins and stuff coming back with their bright, shiny car to show off to the old folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, now why is it y'all aren't liking the car deal? What is it you don't like from your perspective about we're talking about the Canadian-China car deal. I'm curious why he says no one's liking the car deal.
Yeah, because I don't know that much about the car deal. I just know it. I know they were dealing with China.
Yeah. Oh, now this is something. Blue's on mute right now, listening, but she's brought this up about the World Cup. Will people go? I don't know the status of that. Where is the world? Is the World Cup coming up soon? Where is it? I know there's something.
I think isn't it going to be this summer? Because I'm kind of following a little bit on some of my Kansas City news feeds, and they've been talking about it.
So Winter's saying nobody seems to travel to the U.S. for the World Cup. I know Blue's been advocating that people boycott, that Europeans boycott it. I know that. Most of Russia is Asia, though. Well, that's a good point, Winter.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I raised your name in vain.
So the World Cup is split between three host countries this year. It's Canada, U.S., and Mexico. And some of them are in Kansas City, Missouri. There's a big Kansas World Cup Fest at the World War I memorial thing. But anyway, it starts in June, and a lot of people are boycotting. And I'm going back. I'm going back on mute for the car noise.
So you got World Cup coming to Kansas City, Jack. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I knew it.
Did you?
I've been reading. And they've been a little bit worried about some of the restrictions that Trump. It's not just that the world doesn't want to come. It's what was it? A tourist visa cost, I don't remember, some ungodly amount of money. That you've got to put up as a bond to ensure that you're not going to stay. I mean, we're just making it really difficult for the United States to profit off of this. Yeah. It's like we don't want their money.
It's like, how can we become the world's biggest asshole? How can we do that?
Yeah, we're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, and it's just so contrary. Americans have always had this, sort of naive idea that the rest of the world loves us so much, and democracy and our music and all that, and that's how they like it, But then we got these maggots come along, and they want everybody to hate us. I mean, this is new to me. I didn't grow up that way. I mean, I didn't grow up wanting the rest of the world to hate us. I don't understand it. I agree. Trump is excited for the World Cup because he thinks it's a lingerie contest.
We're getting the good commenting section out there.
Yeah, we've got the front of the room crowd today.
Well, it's not the same old boring repetitious stuff.
Yeah. Now, Agri, you're in Florida, if I remember right. Am I right? I thought I'd get you going on Cuba. You didn't have much to say about Cuba. I have to struggle to get people to talk about Cuba. So I guess because I grew up, I mean, I literally remember them telling us how to hide under our desks in the Cuban Missile Crisis, and stuff.
Yeah.
Except my dad calmed my mom and I down. We were in Orlando, and he calmed us down on that because he said, "Oh, it's okay." He says, "All those missiles, those Cuban missiles, they'll go over our heads to Washington and New York. They're long range missiles. They'll go over our heads, so we won't get hit by them." And that's how he calmed us down.
Well, I remember the winter when I was a kid. My mom would make snow ice cream, fresh snow, and mix some cocoa and sugar and milk in with it, and make snow ice cream. And there was the winter we couldn't do it because of the fallout from all the nuclear tests they were doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me follow this now. You're saying there was nuclear dust or something?
Yeah, they were doing airborne tests in the world, and it was getting up into the atmosphere, and it was coming back down in the rain.
Well, I'll be damned.
That's what people were worried about.
And where was this?
Well, we were doing it, and the Russians were doing it.
But I mean, okay. But it wasn't a regional thing to you.
No, it was worldwide. It was.
And you couldn't. I don't remember that.
And that was, I guess, what is it? The strontium-90 that will get in your body and replace the calcium.
Wow. Huh.
And they were all worried about it.
Mike, our world
now
they did regress.
They did a treaty to ban that, and they tested underground.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Yellow snow, yeah.
But yeah, the Bikini Atoll was an airborne test.
Oh, is that what I didn't know what Mike was referring to there. You do? Bikini Atoll, what was that?
Yeah, that's down in the South Pacific.
Oh, that was a nuclear
where they
test?
basically took all the people off of an island and they blew it apart.
Oh, huh. Well, that sounds great.
I think that's where they tested the first what's the more powerful one? Not the atom bomb, but the
neutron,
the
atomic neutron,
hydrogen.
Yeah, the fusion bomb.
Oh.
I remember the neutron bombs when I was a kid. They said it would blow. It would just kill the people and it wouldn't damage the infrastructure, the building.
Yeah, that's a different.
And I also thought it was weird that, like, the worse the thing was, the closer you could stay to your desk, because it was a fire. You went out on the playground. And if it was a tornado, you went into the hall. And if it was a bomb, you got under your desk.
It's an extremely important conversation. Why the president of the United
Marjorie's
States wants
on
to portray
CNN
himself
right now.
as God, and why he would dare even use the words "wipe out an entire civilization."
I think I've heard you talk about your worry that this split and these, as you say, broken promises to Republicans and to the MAGA base is showing up in a lack of turnout, in what potentially might happen at the midterms. Is that a worry? Am I reading that right?
We have seen it in races all over the country that have been held in 2025 and now in 2026, where Democrats are surging and Republicans are losing or either barely winning by much smaller margins, like the special election in my district. this is a huge warning for the midterms. And there was an event yesterday in Athens, Georgia for Turning Point USA, where Vice President J.D. Vance came to speak at the
Nobody
University
showed
of
up.
Georgia in Athens. And there was barely, I think there were somewhere between 300 to 500 people in a nearly 7,000 seat auditorium.
Oh, wow.
This should be warning signs for the Republican Party. And it's particularly concerning for my home state of Georgia that could easily flip blue if Republicans are still so angry and furious at President Trump that they just don't turn out to vote.
I don't understand why
in
she
terms
can't
of
get
the
it to her
opposition
head
to the Iran war, you're not
though.
alone amongst MAGA. Very.
What's that?
I don't understand why she can't get it. It's like she's almost there. She almost gets it. And then she like flips back to Republican thing, whatever.
Yeah.
MAGA
I can't figure out her end game. I don't know what her end game.
Oh,
She
I
may
still
not
think
have
she's-
one. I mean,
Well, she might. I do think she's going to try to run for a much higher office or be on a ticket for a much higher
I
office.
mean, she could have run for Senate this time. I mean, she could have run for, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's enough bad blood in her.
I think she's tired of the politics, and somebody is financing her to say this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, she has grassroots money. See, that's always been her superpower. She didn't need big money. That's why Kevin McCarthy couldn't control her with his big Fortune 500 donors and stuff. That's how a lot of these Republicans survive without the establishment, or Republican establishment, the Chamber of Commerce and so on, is they have perfected small donor support. They get $5, $20. And she can raise millions just that way. And so that's what gives her a lot of power over the establishment.
But
I don't know if she's doing that now.
Speak out, even though she says she's been threatened. She's not afraid to speak out, and so this is why I think that the Republicans, including Democrats, who are like do nothing Democrats, are in it because they are insider trading, because they're getting big APAC money, lobbying money from somebody. It has nothing to do with their constituents anymore. And I think I would like to get rid of almost every single representative on both sides. There's just a few that are worth keeping. And same with the senators. Get rid of all the Republicans and then just keep maybe 2 or 3 senators. There's just not that many that are worth their salt.
Well, back when I was having to cover, I worked for this publication that covered House races, and there were just so many, and I kept saying, we just got too many states. We got to get fewer states. I can't cover all these states. There's too many of them. I always wanted fewer. I mean, like, why can't the Dakotas and the Carolinas double up? Have one state for both of them. That kind.
Well, we figured out how to create them, but we can't figure out how to uncreate them.
How to uncreate them, right? Yeah.
Because I think the Dakotas and Wyoming, all that, and most of Montana, a lot of that stuff, they all have the same issue.
The anti-vaccine rhetoric
on Monday.
I learned about the allegations the same way.
Sorry, I was trying to pull something up there. I've got this is Vance at that event, but my new mouse is so sensitive it pops up.
I kind of like, even when there's disagreement, I like it when the Pope comments on questions of immigration. I like it when the Pope talks about abortion. I like it when the Pope talks about matters of war and peace, because I think that at the very least it invites a conversation. So I think some people...
You can hear the echo.
That's that event.
But you can hear the echo in there. And when Fox showed it, they would show stuff. I put it on the trail like 2 days ago. Sorry. I put it up on the trail like 2 days ago that they had, you could even see banners that it wasn't even in the same place. It wasn't the same venue or anything. And they spliced that live event and 2 other events.
Oh, really?
To show background, to make it look like it's full.
Agri's got a good one here. A new name for Marjorie Soured Cream. Marjorie Soured Cream. That's pretty good, Agri. I like that. Reminds me of the Beast from the Beauty and the Beast TV series. Ron Perlman and
Marjorie's basically becoming an entertainer.
Yeah, see that, and her end game. I thought her end game might be to get a TV contract. But that hadn't happened yet, so I haven't seen that happen. I thought that might be her end game.
Do you need TV? This is the new age here.
Yeah, that's right.
You grew up in the old age, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say she could give like Charlie Kirk, like Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan and all those guys a run for their money if she just had a podcast.
Yeah. For all I know, I mean, she's got a just a famous mailing list. I mean, she might just be doing these hits, cutting them into 60-second shorts and sending them out to her email list and say, "Give me $5." She could make a living doing that.
Well, that's
she has in the past. That's easily what
there's something in there she's doing for money. Or maybe I'm just highly skeptical of the world, but that's just the way the world works. And she's not doing it to influence friends or whatever. So she got to be doing it for money. Right.
Nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all
Back
the way.
to the
I
Pope.
like his brother, Louis.
Now, one of our commenters on YouTube pointed out this morning, I saw a very interesting point, was that Trump keeps talking about how the Pope's brother, who's MAGA, so and he pointed out, that brother hasn't had a word to say about it. I mean, Trump keeps talking about him, but we haven't heard the brother respond to Trump constantly.
Well, it's the old deal like this with a lot of families is if you attack a member of my family, you're attacking me, whether I agree with the guy, whether I'm fighting with him or not.
The other thing is he a lapsed MAGA?
Yeah,
there's a lot of lapsed MAGAs around. They're the base is melting.
Yeah, Peggy Noonan, writing in the Wall Street Journal, was talking about how she thinks Trump may have met his match with the Pope. I think she actually interviews her here, I believe.
Has a certain moral standing. In any case, it's the story of.
They are.
I thought they had her on.
Decided because Donald Trump.
I guess not. Agree. I'm starting the pragmatic party. All right. My problem is actually listening to experts and finding a solution somewhere. Well, good for you, Agree. You know what? I got a name for it. Let's call it the Common Sense Party. I always wanted to start a party called Common Sense. I think that's a nice name for a party. Common Ground, or you could call it the Common Ground Party. That's actually what I had thought of, not Common Sense. What I thought long time ago, I wanted to start actually, I thought it'd be a good name for a TV program, Common Ground.
Well, I think what we've got to understand is everybody has needs, and we all have issues that we believe are important. But my issues and your issues may be totally different.
Yeah.
That's the question emerging after a U.S. Navy MQ-4C Triton surveillance drone was tracked, conducting long-duration missions near the island. Open-source flight data.
And they point out that's the same drone that's now doing reconnaissance over Cuba that they used over Venezuela before they did their business in Venezuela. So. Common sense is not so common anymore. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't think it ever has. I think it's been a, what do they call that, oxymoron anyway. It's always been.
Yeah, look at this thing. You know, every time I see these drones, I mean, no longer are drones. I think of drones as those tiny little things that people take to the dog parks and fly around. You know, these are also drones. I mean, and they're big. They're big boys. Look at the size of that thing. I mean, that's a drone. That's the one we're flying over Cuba right now.
Wow.
That's a big drone. And you got to wonder, how long are we until commercial airlines do this? And would you get in a plane flown by a drone? I think that's going to be something we're going to have to wrestle with.
Well, we're starting to do it with cars.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that those companies that are expanding and they're actually getting people to use them.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
George
And you know,
Jetson
for some people that's handy. My niece who's legally blind, that would be a good service for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take the place because she spends more time standing around the bus stop than she does doing anything else.
Well,
that's a good point, Agri. I will tell people I will never be the smartest person in the room, but at least I will always know it. That's one of the signs of intelligence, knowing what you don't know. That it really is. It's literally one of the signs of intelligence, knowing what you don't know.
Well, on the Jetsons, they had
the Jetsons.
George Jetson had his little space saucer, and he didn't.
I love that.
Drive it. He just pushed a button. So.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't actually drive it?
No, he didn't have a steering wheel. It just had a button. And it would just
politics.
Program where he wanted to go, home or work.
I love the Jetsons. I love that show. I think that's where I got my early fascination with technology. Winter, let's call it realpolitik. Let's call it agri politics. Agri politics.
Realpolitik.
Anyway.
Well, that's basically what Agri's wanting to do is what I try to do with my internet feed, is try to find smart people that don't necessarily agree with me. And then if they bore me, I delete them and try to find somebody else.
Yeah. Well, I actually spent some money on a Substack. The person I wanted to follow, actually, he's a cooking guy, but I gave him his $50 for the year. But boy, I'll tell you, if you try to get many of those folks, that'll just really add up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was what I noticed, and I a little bit that way with my. I've got to go through my subscriptions because there's some of the newspapers I was following for a while that I've not bothered to follow in a while. And see, that's another thing with the newspaper stuff. There's so many ways I can spend my money.
Yeah,
you know. But what I do with Substack is I will subscribe to the free feed and see if and read them for a little bit and read what they'll give for free and see if they've got anything worth listening to. And that's
well, I subscribed to somebody one time and it was really hard to unsubscribe to them.
Oh, I hate that.
Substack made it like really hard, and it was like I will never subscribe to anything for pay again on Substack because it made me.
Well, I mean, even with my emails where I don't ask for money, but I'm very conscious of. I make sure I always put an unsubscribe button at the bottom of my emails that I send out, and I make sure that it's as easy as it can be. I went to France here to pick up the very latest just before we started on just what's happening in Iran. so we can keep up a little bit. I guess it's. Let's see. I didn't even vet this yet. This is their report on the very latest development.
Senior fellow, in geopolitics, international security, and Middle East studies at the Royal United Services Institute for Defence and Security Studies in London. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on France 24. Now, we heard from our correspondent in Tehran just now. The British military is saying that Iranian gunboats have fired on a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, possibly two. Not even 24 hours ago, world leaders were hailing the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz as a major step forward. Just how much of a setback is this latest news, in your opinion?
Thank you very much for having me. I have to say, I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact on the upcoming talks. I think there's a lot of posturing that's going on. And the Iranians are reacting to a lot of posturing going on from the United States, as well as doing their own posturing. My expectation is that the talks will go forward. I also don't expect all that much to come out of this round of talks, and I think people should lower expectations in that regard. But I think that these talks are important because they lay down the groundwork for more discussions. And the more discussions we have, then the more likely it is that we're going to come to some sort of an agreement that is going to avert more war.
But the problem is, I don't think Trump has the patience or the inclination to sit that out, to have what this guy's describing. I mean, days, weeks of talks to a conclusion. I don't think he's going to put up with that.
And I don't think he even wants to avert more war. I think he loves the chaos, and I think he's too far gone. If he ever was with it enough to.
I think it's a little like, remember when they started, Johnson was trying to negotiate with North Vietnam.
Oh, in Paris.
And they spent, I don't know how long, just trying to determine the shape of the table.
That's right. They did. You're right. Yeah, that was the first round of negotiation. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it really was.
I mean, we haven't even sat down with the Iranians and talked about a table.
I mean, and the crazy thing is, what we're likely to get back to is the original Obama deal that Trump blew up, and that took 18 months to get to that conclusion. So I mean, there's just no way he's going to put up with what
somebody put out a graphic about how much cash, the cash that Obama unfroze versus what Trump did, and versus how much it weighed in elephants. And Obama's was 3 elephants worth of cash unfrozen. And Trump's was 33 elephants worth of trash. Just to let people, I mean, because sometimes a visual helps,
Yeah.
I'll have to find that. It was funny. I was like, well, if that's true, I mean.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I can't imagine after what he's experienced that Trump is going to pull the trigger on troops and more fighting and even more bombing. I don't think he's going to want to do any more actual fighting in Iran, even though Israel's going to push for it. But and the Iranians know that. So their strategy is maybe, we'll just sit this out. We'll argue over the size of the shape of the table and everything else. Make this take as long as possible until this loses attention span.
Pirate Pete out there, we'll just take your oil and sell it. Pirate Pete Hegseth, he's like chomping at the bit for war because it's not going to be his butt on the line. But
the problem with taking the oil and selling it is you've got to have possession of the oil.
Well, I think we got 2 tankers the other day, and that's what he said. We will take it, and we're taking it, and we're going to sell it. And that's when I started calling him Pirate Pete.
Well, you better put the money in the bank because somebody's going to take you to court and get the money out of you.
But if you blockade the port, then you're not even going to get the tankers to seize. There'll be no tankers to seize if you're blocking the port from the tankers getting the oil and leaving. But you're not saying that he has a rational plan.
No, I'm not saying that.
No,
yeah.
I think
Rationality left the building long ago.
Yeah. The Grim Reaper, there you go, Mike. The Grim Reaper has come to collect. Isn't it becoming obvious? That gets to your theory, Blue. You don't think Trump's going to last the summer.
I don't, because he's so up and down. It's like he gives a speech and they've got him all pumped up on something. And then the next thing you see him, he's falling asleep at something and he's talking.
Well, I watched that whole Phoenix speech yesterday because that's what I do. And I watched every minute of it. And his energy level stayed up just
That's
fine.
because
they
pump
about
him
45
up with
minutes.
Stuff. Yeah, and they pump him up with stuff right before and they time it. But then
he was on and off script. I mean, he was relatively lucid. I mean, if you call saying crazy things and lying, but anyway, you couldn't make the argument that he was about to die on us,
But do you not see that he's like hot and cold? He's like hot and cold. Yeah. So I mean, he's relying on something to keep him pumped up.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Old folks can rant on forever, as long as they are ranting on things their brain will handle.
Yeah.
What is the guy used to run a nursing home said how you tell people, old folks that have a problem, is that you sit and talk to them and you change the subject 3 times.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
If they can follow you in the change of the subjects, they're doing fine.
Join me at Donald.
But if they sit there and they can't follow the change, then you've got somebody with problems. And that's what I've seen with Trump in quite some time. As long as he's talking about something that's on his brain, he's okay. But he can't deal with talking about something that's in your mind.
But that might be just the narcissism too.
Now, how did my mic get muted? Anyway, get over to trailmix.cc and continue the conversation. Any of you want to do that, it's easy to comment. And we've done our hour. I think I'm going to go back to Trump selling chicken. I can't get enough. I can't get enough of this. This is actually him at Saturday Night Live. I mean, I don't think he got the joke. I mean, the joke was that he's a con artist. Saturday Night Live writers wrote this bit to make fun of him for being a con artist. And he played right along with it because he just loves the attention, And I think later on, people pointed out to him that, they were making fun of you.
That's the problem with Trump, is if he gets attention, that's all he cares about.
That's all that matters. As long as he gets
attention. It takes more than that to run a country, and it certainly takes more than that to deal with. What you got to understand is every world leader out there is just as, let's just say they're just as smart as Trump, and most of them are quite a bit smarter than Trump.
Yeah, I think so. Mike Abrams from Canada, come back sometime. We appreciate you having you around. And we got somebody new pop in right at the last minute. MAGA loves Trump way more than they'll ever love America. Oh, you got a point there.
Yeah.
Kevin
Cult of
Kebs.
personality. Although some of them are peeling off, but there's a core base that they are just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing I've always said about MAGA is, from the day I started going to MAGA rallies and watching and talking to these people, is think of it as worldwide wrestling, or what I used to call, where they call it something different now.
Yeah.
But it's fake wrestling. I mean, they don't care. They know it's fake. They're completely aware that it's fake, but they want the show. They're paying for the show, and that's what they pay for with Trump.
Yeah, we're all paying for it now, though.
And that's the problem, is the rest of us also pay for it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, here he is selling chicken on Saturday Night Live when the writers were making fun of him, and he didn't realize it, I guess. I don't know, but he plays.
Join.